John, you and Kevin Lyman own this tour,
Yep.
and a few other tours. Tell us how this all began and how you guys started out.
Kevin and I have been partners for 7 years. We started together on the Rockstar Taste of Chaos, and that was kind of like a winter warp tour indoor festival, and it was extremely successful, and it still is. We still do that in like 17 countries throughout the world. But I got a call from Rockstar Energy Drink in August of 2007, and they were kind of shut out of the summer festival touring music. Monster and Red Bull and other companies were doing tours, and so Mike Kelso called and said, I would love for you to consider developing something for us because the Taste of Chaos property was so successful. So I called Kevin, I called Daryl Eaton, and we bantered it around, and it just so happened that that year was the year of the Free Ozfest. Mm-hmm. So we're like, where do you go from free?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like one of those moments in time where, you know, the stars align, clouds come together, and it was perfect. So I was really good friends with the Slipknot guys because Ross and I went to Des Moines and signed them back in the day, and signed them to our record label, I Am Recordings, through Roadrunner. And so I was friendly with their manager, and so I called Corey Brennan, their manager, and Kevin and I called Corey Brennan, their manager, and said, you know, would you be down for doing something like this? Corey was receptive, and we, at the same time, almost simultaneously, you know, our targeted 2 artists to launch the Rockstar Energy Drink Mayhem Festival were Slipknot and Disturbed. So
That's awesome.
we then, like, I was in Australia on Taste of Chaos, and I called Jeff Battaglia through Daryl Eaton, their agent, who's also, our partner on this. And I called Jeff and I said, would you be down with doing something like this? And he was down with doing something like this. And so that was, 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, I went to that first Mayhem. It was amazing.
Kicked
what a
ass,
sick
didn't it?
lineup.
It kicked ass.
It did kick ass.
It did. It kicked ass.
So what about your other tours? Tell me about those as well.
I've got another tour. Well, Kevin and I still do Taste of Chaos together. I've got a sponsorship agency called Entertainment 360 that does, crazy big sponsorship deals with AOL and Samsung and Rockstar and tons of different. And that's a sexy bitch right there. What are you doing, brother?
Walking.
Yeah. Where's your ruckus, bro?
Over by Haybridge.
Yeah, so Kevin and I still do Taste of Chaos. This year, that goes out in November with Disturbed, all throughout Europe and the UK. Disturbed, Papa Roach, Buck Cherry, and Hailstorm. The whole thing is Mayhem. We want to keep true to be a metal. Obviously, you need two big bands on the main stage that have a bit more of a mainstream following to draw 20,000, 17,000 people like we do on this. So we approach 2 big bands, and then we try to stay true to the core of Mayhem, of it being a metal.
Do you pick the bands, or do the bands come to you? How does that work?
Well, they come to us, but we mainly put together a target. Kevin and I and Daryl, we put together a target list, and we look at what's happening, and we try to figure out a bill that's gonna be perfectly rounded out, and it's gonna draw a lot of people. And so Mayhem is, we want to stay true to the core of metal and heavy music, and try to bring that a diversified lineup and a cool lineup every year.
Now, you have a really interesting history before all this happened. You actually worked with my favorite band, Guns N' Roses.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I started working with Guns N' Roses there's Jeff Battaglia. I started working with Guns N' Roses right when Sweet Child of Mine broke. And I used to own a security company in Arizona, and a guy that worked with me became their manager. And he called me up and he said, I had this massive security company, I was making no money, getting sued every day, I hated it, and I had offices all over the country, and he called me and said, do you want to come work with Guns N' Roses, be their tour manager? And I'm like, hell yes. I'm like, hell yes. And they were the biggest band in the world. So I was 27 years old, flying around on 727s all over the world. We did over 300 stadiums all over the world. Dealt with, they were the biggest fucking band in the world. I will, you know, I'm 49 today. Today's my birthday. Today.
Happy birthday,
and
John Reese.
I will never see what I saw with that. You know, the insanity of it.
Well, the time is different. I don't think bands like that like do shit like that anymore. They just don't really exist. The rock stars aren't like that anymore.
They aren't. And Axl, you know, he is who he is, and he's you know, but he was an insane talent, and that record was their life, and it was Axl's life moving from, you know, the cornfields of Indiana to Hollywood and all the bullshit that went along with that, you know. And you had virtuoso musical talent and songwriting talent, and they were that band was able to channel just the insanity of their existence into that album. And to me, like, everybody always asks me the question, if I had to take one album to a deserted island, it would be Appetite for Destruction.
Because it's perfect from beginning to end. Every song is perfect.
It's perfect. It's the perfect rock album.
Unbelievable.
So anyway, I worked with him until 1997, and then my partner and I split.
What have you been doing between then and now?
I was a manager for 20 years. I just kind of left my last client about 3 months ago, and I'm strictly now in the business of engaging, you know, festivals and engaging, you know, brands with consumers, and trying to deliver a great entertainment package for a fair price at the end of the day.
What is the plan? What's like the 5 to 10 year plan with the festivals, especially Mayhem?
Well, you know, you're only as good as your last year. This year we're finding that the third year it's connecting. Like, we're finding that Mayhem, the word Mayhem Festival and Rockstar Energy Mayhem Festival means something. And this is the first year that I think that you know, that Mayhem is becoming like what Kevin's done with Warped, which is like a rite of passage for the summertime for a heavy music fan. And at the end of the day, that's all that I and we can ask for, is that it becomes something where kids across this country and hard music fans across this country say, shit, I got to go to that tour, and they know they're going to get great entertainment, and they know they're not going to pay too much, and they know, you know, they kind of know what they're going to get, but we bring them surprises. This year we brought the little Oompa Loompa dudes, and we brought Jay Okerson, the comedian, who's funny as hell. We still have the crazy Daredevil Metal Militia dudes jumping.
I think it's phenomenal because there's so much to do here. Like, there's the Metal Militia dudes, and you can go to the Harley tent and like learn how to ride a motorcycle, which is so cool. And we watch some comedy and watch some, like, there's other things going on all day besides just the bands. And the bands are just hanging out, walking around, doing signings.
Rob, that big ass line right there. Rob Zombie's out in the crowd signing.
Yeah, it's very accessible. I feel like, you know, I feel at other festivals before, like the musicians and the people are super separated. Here, you can meet your favorite musician. You can hang out with them while they're just walking around.
Absolutely.
It's total heavy metal summer camp.
Absolutely. We just chose to kind of do a little different model than that, you know, and we pay the second stage bands. You know, we don't segregate.
Absolutely.
This is a community. It's a 350 person traveling family, and that ultimately is what is so important to us, is to create. You know, the best story of all is last year in Oklahoma City when the tour ended. The lead singer of Cannibal Corpse, who's a big gnarly dude, right, and a jaded, you know, been doing this for 17 years, like fucking real dude, right? Comes up to me on the last day and gives me a big hug and has kind of like a tear in his eye, and he says, "I had the best summer I've ever had." When that dude, that gnarly dude, you know, had a tear in his eye and was like, you know, had the best summer I've ever had, you know, all the shit was worth it, you know, all the shit was worth it.
Is that like your favorite part of the job?
I mean, I think honestly that besides the first day in 2008 where I saw it all come together, oh man, it's starting to rain like gnarly.
Yeah.
We had 15,000 people in Seattle when it first started. That was another moment that was amazing. Let's go to the bus.
Let's go to the bus.
Cool.